joined by my co-host who just got a sick Target Darts Omni upgrade. Not because she wants to get out and playing darts once again, but rather because she wanted yet another reminder that her wife is the best dart player in her house. It's Jen Mounts.
Oh, I don't need a reminder. It's like theoretically clear that she is the better player, but I do try my absolute hardest to make sure she never beats me. It's pretty sad. I can't let it happen. Back with me, wow, is Nick Teixeira. Almost forgot to roast you. He has a condition called aphantasia, so he can't visualize success, which, to be fair, might explain a few tournament results of his lately. Boom, roasted. You're watching Pointed Questions. Yay!
Welcome back. It's episode 11 of Pointed Questions, everybody, answering darts and life's biggest problems. It's a Jen and Nick. We've made it 11 episodes so far, and this one is going to be one that I think the fans will like quite a lot. We'll first start talking off about our last couple weeks here, ESPN, the Bull Shooter, Florida, and my time at DPFL. Jen has some fun stuff about youth darts and what's going on in the future of all that shenanigans. And then we got a big topic to cover, content creation. This is the content creation episode. We're going to talk about what goes into making good videos, how we got into making content, the types of content we like and love, and content that we hate and have to do, and everything else in between. And then we're going to answer the biggest question of all, the pointed question of the day. Do content creators really help grow darts? Jen, hi.
Hi, it's good to see you. I've missed you.
I missed you too. I
You've
took
been gone. How was your
couple trips here.
Yeah, how was your travels?
I'm always tired still, so the norm. I think it's been fun hitting the road. We haven't filmed an episode in a little bit for behind the scenes. If you guys have been paying attention, sorry to our super fans, Alex Spellman, Nikki, and Jasmine, and everyone else. But we are back. Yeah, went over, had a birthday time. I'm 28 now. I'm old. Catching up to Jen, almost 40. And had a couple of different things, and then going back to Florida and playing in events. It's been a busy couple of weeks for the Nick Teixeiras of the world.
What are you going to do when I actually turn 40? What's that post going to be?
Sad. I'll be like, oh no, she's almost dead. she's almost out of time.
I think I'll be in my prime. I really believe. Yeah, my prime's going to be in my 40s, without a doubt, because it's not now.
Why? Why is 40 your prime?
Well, I feel like it'll be my financial prime, my confidence prime, self-esteem, relationship prime. Like, I feel like my marriage gets better over time. I don't know. I mean, I feel like much better compared to my 20s and my 30s, but there's something about it. It's like you really truly know who you are. You just don't feel like as much of a people pleaser, like you're getting sucked into things that you don't want to do. I learned what boundaries are recently.
Wow.
But you know what I mean? I feel I'll master those things and get to finally be who I actually want to be in my 40s without outside influence. So, yeah.
See, you're kind of selling me on it. I think growing up, I was always like, listen, I'm going to try to make a good run of this life thing. But like, I don't know. I only thought up until about my 30s. So now I'm like getting dangerously close to it. I'm like, oh, there's more. I mean, statistically speaking, with how much hot dogs I eat, I mean, we're not getting past like 52. But like, I got to really take advantage of those 40s.
Well, I will say, like, definitely take advantage of opportunities and adventure when you're younger. But I think there's still things to look forward to, like your personal growth, your intelligence, even your attractiveness. Like, you can completely change your body, grow a beard, dye your hair. There's so many things you can do to get hot as
Yeah, thanks. I've been crushing it over here. I'm really taking this boost right now. 28's been looking all right. I've already had 2 hair colors at 28, by the way. Like, we've already done silver into red. And I'm ready to shave my head. Like, I'm getting close to like the let's shave and have natural hair for a while phase. So TNC might get mad if I do that again.
Nothing against your colored hair. I think you have beautiful natural hair color. Every time I see it, I'm like, wow, it's like it's not a typical brunette. It's not a blonde. It's like kind of in between. Like, it's a unique shade for sure. I like
Yeah,
it.
they've always called me a unique shade back in high school. Actually, I remember one time in high school, this was probably late middle school. I was walking around, like I wasn't like a fat kid, but I was a chubby boy. And I remember one time I like was walking and like I just like tripped on my shoelace or something and I fell. And this one kid in the background just goes, "The whale has beached." And so maybe
No.
instead of unique shade, I was the beached whale for a little bit. But we've had a couple different nicknames over the years.
Wow, that makes me feel a little better about all the hate crimes that I experienced when I was a kid.
It's
Oh
so funny though.
gosh.
I really like. I remember even in that moment, I was like, I should be upset, but that was a really good one. like if you stick the
Isn't that a
landing,
bitch? Yeah.
you stick the
Yeah, people
landing.
people weren't clever. They just call me like Japanese girl in middle school and then flick a cigarette at me on the bus. And I'm like, damn, they're
Wait,
not even trying.
wait,
Yeah.
they flick cigarettes on the bus. What are they
Yeah.
doing with Newports on the bus?
Yeah. When I moved to Kentucky, that's when I discovered I wasn't white. So I'm 8 years old and I'm like, race? What's this construct of race? And it just kept getting pointed out to me that I'm not white. And I'm like, oh shit. It's just it was an epiphany, for sure. And yeah, I had to ask my mom to drive me to school every day at a certain point. Yeah, big traumatic bus rider for sure. Ooh.
I do love that you're never going to be the Japanese allegations if you keep posting pictures of you in a kimono. By the way, you're really not
I know,
helping that one.
actively posting only very traditional historic Japanese photos right now.
It's
No.
such a choice. Such a choice.
No, I'm not in touch with my Korean side, but I am Korean for those that are wondering. Nobody's ever guessed my race correctly, but it's okay.
You guys would know she's Korean the moment she has soju and you go to Korean barbecue. That is like, and that sounds like a racist bit. No, she locks in. That is the elder
Yeah.
taking care of the children.
I really appreciate how much you tell this story because I'm in my truest form when I'm sitting at a Korean barbecue table with some tongs in my hand and some soju in my belly. I black out, but it's a great time. I've been told.
Oh, it was incredible. I mean, truly, you think about like Jen being a good host on the podcast. No, good host at the dinner table specifically. It was phenomenal. And like the look of joy you had as if I wasn't going to pound a peach soju with you. Like of course I was going to. That was always in the cards.
Yeah, that was fun because we were alternating between like strawberry, green apple, peach soju, whatever, and then Korean beers too. So there was just like, yeah, it was a lot. But the last time I went to Korean barbecue, I don't know if I made Will, but he offered to cook, and I just felt off. I was just like, man, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like if I'm not cooking the meat, what do I do?
I do love referencing drinking soju with you though. I had someone come up to me this last weekend and what they meant to say was nice, but what they actually said was just me having stolen valor. They were like, Nick, congratulations on your sobriety. And I was like, no, wait guys, slow down. Guys, I just don't want to drink and play darts. For the record.
You have a problem, sir.
I literally, I just looked and said thank you. I remember speaking of stolen valor. I used to be really into airsoft, right? When I was in like 8th grade to like sophomore year of high school, I was like, me and the homies, we would go out to Combat City in Orlando and we would tear up that field for hours. I'd have my camelback on and my camo and I would just crush it. I loved airsoft. And I remember one time I was on a flight and I didn't have a coat because I live in Florida. I just didn't have a coat that fit. I didn't get one in a while. And I wore my airsoft uniform to the airport. No patches. It doesn't like say anything.
Nick.
Not thinking about
Nick.
it. Not thinking about it. And I'm walking around. I have an earbud in. I'm like 14, not really thinking about my actions. And someone just goes from like the other side of the airport. I have one earbud and I hear, "Thank you for your service." And like they're far away. And I just kind of like give him a nod. Like I didn't know. I was like, this is too many words to explain it. I'm not trying to do nothing, and I never wore camo out in public, like full airsoft uniform ever again. I like to humbly apologize to anybody I've stolen valor from over the years.
I think it's understandable. Honestly, I've been there too because my dad was like my size when he was 17. I think he had like a later growth spurt, and so he was in the army, and he gave me his like just that typical gray T-shirt that says Army on it from his basic training, and I still have it to this day. It's a really really old T-shirt at this point, and I used to wear it like it was one of those things. It's like I fondly think of my dad, like when I wear it, which is a very needed tool in my life. And
Let's keep packing. Keep on packing.
Yeah, let's keep on packing. And I would just like wear it out and about. And I realized like, oh no, I cannot do that because I was getting like discounts and like people were stopping me at like the gas station. And I was like, oh geez, because the shirt fits me perfectly. So it really looks like I'm in basic training or something. So yeah, I decided it's a sleeping shirt from now on. But yeah, I don't know. We've all been there.
Title of the podcast: Jen and Nick stole valor.
Stolen valor.
I definitely felt like I had some stolen valor of being a dart player this last DPFL trip. I went out there as a player for the first time in forever, and I can tell you that when I was like going into it, I had not the highest of expectations, but I put about 2,000 darts into this Omni right before that trip, and I was playing every day, good hour to 2 hours a day, putting some time in, playing against different bots and people, and I was like, you know what, I'm holding like a right around a 61, like which is my Dart Connect competition card, and I went out there and oh boy, that was a rough one for the mental health and the darts. And I'm like, maybe I just never was a dart player. Maybe that's what's going on in here. It was awful.
Well, I remember when we were playing that DPFL league, you were easily averaging in the 70s a lot of the times, weren't you?
No, I averaged. I think I finished the season at a 61. My highest match of the season was a 68.5.
Really?
I mean,
maybe I'm just thinking of our practice games then.
You would watch the first 2 legs and get bored of my matches. Let's be so for real. Let's be so for real. You weren't sitting there on Dart Connect.
Yeah, my lack of support is due to you always calling me during my matches. Like even like twice, you would be persistent. I'd hang up on you immediately.
I turned on fan alerts now. I know better. I have them turned on.
Anyways, in my head, you're a 70 player, so I'm not changing it. It's permanently in there.
I think it's in there, but I can tell you. So I played sober darts, and it showed. What was so funny is the very first event started off on the right foot, and I shot an 81 in the match. We lost 2 legs straight, but and got knocked out of the event. But I started off just fine. And then proceeded to not have another good match for almost the rest of the tournament. And it was like it was like my dart stroke kept changing. I felt like I had to constantly adjust what I was doing. I was hyper conscious of how I was throwing, and a lot of times I was having a lot of trouble just having fun, which is like the biggest secret to throwing a good average is just getting lost and having fun inside a match. Was not happening for this guy.
Well, there are prerequisites that go into being able to let your hair down and let loose and have fun. So it's not something you can talk yourself through. Like you have to, for one, trust your throwing mechanics and not be thinking about them. And you and I are overly analytical and we like to intellectualize things. So it's just a recipe for disaster for us if we're not comfy. But yeah, it's quite difficult. And at the end of the day, like, it's funny, people just assume that we have all this time to put into the practice board, but if anything, we're so immersed into the darts world, sometimes also carving out time for us to practice and consider ourselves players is quite difficult to balance with content creation. And we both work in the darts industry and personally make content. So it's, at least that's my justification in my head, that you can't spread your mind and time that thin and have great tournament results all the time.
I think for me, it also comes down to like internalized expectations, right? I think for me, it was so heavily like, I have to be this kind of player. I have to do this kind of thing. And I never really had that before. Like before I had like, the level of cockiness that you should have a dart player. I think the best dart players should be cocky. Like you should have like confidence and moxie. And as long as you can stay humble while being a little cocky, then you're fine. If you have only one or the other, it's not the best recipe. But like I always like played with confidence. not having that, and then also believing that I have to perform at a certain standard because people watch my matches when I play now. Like I'm not
Mhm.
just like hanging out and I have like my one or two friends in the corner. It was intimidating. Like, oh my gosh, just getting beat up by Aaron Turner as the entire Turner clan's watching behind me. I'm just like, no, Laura, not like this. No.
In fairness, Aaron's probably rooting for you, his opponent. He's
Oh,
just that kind of guy.
okay, I don't know if Aaron's gonna get mad if I say this. I'm gonna say it anyways. So it was Will and I playing in the second chance bracket against Aaron Turner and his partner. And his partner was like on her like fifth call, like not showing up, and he's like, "Dude, just forfeit us." And we're like, we can't. Like it feels weird.
Yeah.
We can't really
Yeah.
be the ones that forfeit, you guys.
Right.
And then they show up, and then by the time it started, I just couldn't get it going. I could tell. I was like, oh, I think he was ready for bed. I think he wanted us to win that. I was like, sorry,
Oh,
Aaron.
that's too funny. No, he's the best sport ever. But going back to your point of like people have fan alerts for you, like at the end of the day, it's just all about how you perceive what these things mean and what your goal is going into it. Like they're not watching to hate watch you.
Oh yeah,
Literally, no, of all people, Nick, nobody's watching you to hate watch you. They're all
they
there
should.
just to
I need
support
it.
you and hope.
I need it.
No, I know you well enough to know negative reinforcement's not your jammy jam, but also the concept of like you have these prerequisites for your skill level of like just change your goals. Like one of the best things that helped me when I had that tournament run at DPFL last year is I just thought to myself like, okay, I haven't played in 8 years. This tournament is going to be practice for the next tournament I go to, rather than I've been preparing myself for said one and only tournament. And by the end, I got comfortable enough with that idea and finally believed it after like 7 straight days of back to back. What was it? The USA Dart Classic, followed by the DPFL. So it took a long time, but I finally convinced myself of it. And yeah, it's difficult.
So I had like a moment. I was playing the Division One round robin, Division Two. Now, Division One round robin is a 75 and under category, right? And so I signed up for that, even though I was a 61, because I was like, oh, well, it's different days, so I'm gonna get some experience. I played Division One in the regular season in the past and did all right. I'm gonna go in
Hmm.
there and I'm just gonna try my best. And I wasn't really happy with my performance, but I had a 2-3 loss and a 2-3 loss. The first 2-3 loss, I actually had a chance to win. The second one was more of like I won 2 garbage time legs. And what was funny is you would watch my matches and you'd be like, all right, he just shot a 125, 11, 60, 5. Like it was like I just kept like missing and like having really weird scoring. And then I would be like, oh, 100 checkout, oh, 93 checkout, oh, 76 checkout. Like my checkouts
Yeah.
were hitting and no scoring was on my side. And so I like took the 2-3 loss. I took the 2-3 loss. Already knew I was out of contention, which again did not have the expectation set to myself of moving on. I then played a good friend of Mike Tieske, and he ended up beating me 4-1. And him and I have always like we were on the same steel tip state team back in the day. I had like I think I always had the winning record against him, and he like made a comment. He's like, like maybe I'll finally get you, and I was like, you might. And he took the 4-1 win on me, and I told myself I just want to win one match in this round robin, and I'm going up against the guy that's in last place in the pod. Like this is my one match. I'm going to grab it. And you might think to yourself, Jen, oh, well, that's reasonable. Did you get the win? Did it feel good? It was the worst feeling whenever, and here's why. It's because in the round robin play, I had like board management, so like it would go in order, and it was one board per group. So there was another match before the last match, which was me and this guy. My opponent was so drunk he was sleeping on the floor, and I had to wake him up to play our
Oh
match.
my God.
And I had to wake him up, and I was like, really? Like, I guess I said I wanted to win. I should have been more specific. And so I woke him up, and I was like, I wasn't mad at him at all, but I was mad at myself because I set this goal, and now I felt like even if I achieved it, it wouldn't. Like, it would have like a little asterisk next to it. So I played that first leg, and I nail a 15 dart first leg against him, and I'm like fired up. And then he starts waking the up, and I'm like, no. I was like, you can tell each leg he got a little bit more conscious, and I was like starting to sweat, and he almost took it to a last like 2-2, and then thankfully I hit like a big checkout right at the end, and then I ended up taking him 4-1, and I was like the most grumpy 4-1 winner of all time.
Wow. I kind of have a theory about you and I because we have like similar mental and physical limitations and abilities when it
Yeah, we're
comes to
very
darts.
physically the same.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, what's a small twister? I'm a I can't even think. I can't even think. I'm a duster.
We're both
I was like,
Japanese.
no, I just want like a variation of your twisting mechanics.
A
Anyways,
little cyclone, a little typhoon. No, those
yeah,
are
I'm like a
I don't
little.
know. Cyclone. Let's go
Those are
cyclone.
better. Okay, I'm a little cyclone. Um, anyway, the concept of like you and I could score horrendously and inconsistently, but deal with a high pressure moment really well. And my theory behind that is like why we're able to produce a big checkout, something like 100 plus, despite being a 60 average, is I think the entire time we're extremely uncomfortable. And so when it gets to a actual high pressure moment, there's genuinely no difference. It's like maybe a little bit of extra focus goes into that. And it's like a do or die like kind of thing. So it's not like you're comfy and then all of a sudden the nerves like set in. The nerves were already there from the start. So the whole match to me is like the exact same. It's just I'm just getting more comfortable with it over time.
Yeah, that's usually how it works for me, and I start to find like some joy when like I get to play longer, get to like settle
Yeah.
in. The other round robin travesty was the division two, and this is where like my like heartbreak was in full force on the dartboard. I win my first match 2-1, and then there's only four matches in this group, so I won 2-1, and then I play my next match and I sneak out a 2-1. I take a 1-2 loss. Um, oh, no, excuse me. Sorry. Let me get this right. There was four of us, three matches, 2-1 win. I started off. I was like, all right, good win. Then I take a 2-1 loss. And so I'm going to my last match, and the one guy won all three of his matches. All I had to do was win my last match. I'm the last match of the pod. If I win two legs of the three, I'm in. And I'm playing against Russ Bucket Lewis, a good friend. And you know, he already thought he was eliminated because he lost his first two matches. What he didn't realize is that because of the way that the matches played out, is if he actually won 2-1 and had the highest average, he would win on a tiebreaker.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how our pod was that close. And he actually had the highest average in our entire group, but lost both straight, two straight. We go and play each other. We're in the first leg. He's sitting on a double. I check out 93, and I let out like a celebration because like I'm like feeling it. I start the next leg with throw with a 140, and I'm like, all right, this is it. I got it right here. And then I fell apart. Like I couldn't score above like a 45. I was missing darts so wide, setting up singles for doubles. And he like wins the leg, and he already thought he was eliminated by losing the one leg. So he even like kind of like made like a comment. He's like, hey man, like what are you doing? You got this. Like being very nice. His entire family's background I'm also friends with, as like they're like he rallies and then he plays a really well last leg and he beats me, and I knew I was eliminated at that point, and he did not realize that he was in yet. I lost, and then I proceed to have him say, hey, can you sign my hat? And so then I signed his hat after the loss, which we talked about before the match. And it wasn't rude. It wasn't trying to be disrespectful. But like,
Okay.
I was still like, I was like, that's fine. And I knew him. Like, I wasn't mad at him at all. I signed his hat. And then I hear Adam Savada and like Jeff Smith and their table say, Nick, come here, come here. So then I come right after my match loss. And I walk up and they're like, so what's all that twisting about? I'm like, what is happening right now? This is the worst day ever. This sucks. I hate darts. I want to go home. Don't like it here. So losses feel different when you are on the radar, you know, a little bit.
This is why I go by the Cyclone because it's just way more badass.
And it is. They're like, oh, look at
no
the twister.
No one's gonna question me. The twister.
Look at the twister. But I will say for me, the highlights of DPFL was I mean, I really had so much fun playing with the people I got a chance to play with. Playing with Marcus Zara, playing with Jasmine and Will. And particularly I had the most fun playing with Nalani Terrell. I mean, that was just such a good time.
Nice.
Yeah, she was all in on cheering for my 2 marks in cricket. And like I remember at one point I had to go for a trip 15 and hit a single 3, and I turned around, she just gave me a thumbs up.
That's hilarious.
We lost in terrible fashion, and she literally goes, Yeah, so you want to sign up for the second chance? I'm like, if you want to, I'll keep running it. So it's about the people more than anything else, I would have to say. And that was like I was glad I got to end playing with a partner that really helped remind me of how fun it is. Like, she's 16, she's sober, she literally missed match starts against Paula Murphy to move on to the quarterfinals or the semifinals of the
Oh,
silver event just before we played our event. Like, and she was still smiling and playing. And I'm like, you know what? What's my problem then?
yeah. Oh yeah, gosh, it's like such an amazing head start when you're young and you're just very unbothered by the ups and downs and the emotional roller coaster of like self-imposed expectation. And so I love watching the youth play because they can be emotional and fun and crazy, but at the end of the day, like they're just kids and they understand that this is just a game. And yes, like there is an element of serious competition where you're investing a little bit into it, but their whole self identity is not wrapped around the sport. They're kids that have their whole lives ahead of them. But the little bit that I've observed of her is that it's just a matter of time before she's just like consistently doing deep runs in the adult women's side for steel tip. So I was really excited to see her growth. I got to play against her in that DPFL league last year. So I think she's tremendously improved just on her average since then. I think it's something like a 10 PPR jump easily, if not more. So it's exciting to see that skill grow quickly with her. And then the attitudes are already solid. So yeah, good stuff. Good recipe for a great player.
So moral of the story, darts is hard. I'm gonna keep trying. But like, man, am I just a content creator now? Who knows? We're gonna figure that out later in this episode. What about you, Jim? What's been going on
Well,
over there?
I think that being decent at darts is a prerequisite to being a content creator because of expectation of your following. So we can get into that like a little bit later. So you can't give up entirely, Nick. You still got to play.
Nope.
You got
I'm
to if you
done.
want to be a
I'm
creator.
taking down the board. I'm selling on marketplace.
But for me, recently have been having just like a couple dinner parties, and like whenever friends come over, of course they walk into my living room and they immediately see five dartboards that are hanging up, and they're like, "Where's your couch? What's with all this?" And I kind of have to explain like I have to dedicate this space to darts and content creation, and it's my workspace. And I've been doing this thing where they naturally want to play, right? So we always split up into doubles or singles or whatever. And I start them with the soft tip board every single time because like in my head that's what I got introduced to. And so in my head I also think it's just easier, but that's just like more of a bias, a personal bias coming out to me. And every single time they really struggle to retrieve the dart out of the board. They can't do it quickly. I try to tell them like rotate clockwise, then pull. And it's like, it's this whole like rigmarole every time of it's loud. It confuses them. Like it scratches up their hand a little bit. And it's finally dawned on me that if you present someone with the option of both soft tip and steel tip to get introduced to, they actually just don't care about the advantage of the soft tip board being larger. They kind of don't even really understand that nuance and don't recognize it. And they really appreciate the quiet aspect of the steel tip bristle board, the traditional like sisal that it's made out of, and they like how easy it is to pull the darts out. And they just don't care about all those annoying things that we care about, like bounce outs don't count. It's more difficult. You have to double out. They just don't have any of that like worry in their minds. So it's really just been a bit of a learning curve for me that I've seen consistently time and time again. Brand new people feel that they're playing more of like a real thing when they go to the steel tip side, and it's like if anything a little bit less annoying and less distracting to them. However, this might not be true whatsoever in Asia, for example, where you have like such a huge like gamification of culture, and soft tip absolutely just fits in line with the bright colors, sounds, and fun things that are happening, and arcades, and just the whole culture just fits perfectly. And a lot of places in the United States only offer soft tip. So I just find that interesting. It's really making me realize that I make fun of Tirza for being a steel tip purist, right? Like we kind of like talk about that all the time. Like, how did I marry a steel tip purist and not even know it? And I realized over the weekend that I have grown to like steel tip more than soft tip, even though that was the only thing I played for years. Um, for all those reasons that I explained, I just kind of saw it through these newbies' eyes. But that doesn't mean that I won't still defend the existence of soft tip till I'm blue in the face. Like I'll always be the first to be like, oh, you can't be ignorant. Like soft tip's never going to go away in the United States. It's never going to go away in Japan. Like it is, it's also fairly large in Germany and certain parts of Europe. But at the end of the day, I always find myself gravitating towards practicing steel tip, especially if I only am going to throw like 6 to 9 darts and then go on about my day. I don't know. Do you do that where you just do like a graze by, like hit the
Um,
treble 20, hit the double 16 a couple times, or the
So
bull?
before the dartboard just moved over here, but it was right on this wall, and that's the
Yeah.
door that goes from my living room to my kitchen and my bedroom and everything, right? And so I used to do this thing where I would be like, okay, you can't go to the next room till you hit 100 or more, and sometimes I would throw it in the first 3 darts and like go about my day, and sometimes I'd be there for
Yeah.
like 10 minutes. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely used to do like impromptu like drive-bys, yeah.
Yeah, I was hardcore, man. Back in the day when I was homeless, living playing darts every day, playing darts for a living. I wouldn't let myself go to the bathroom in the morning until I've done a full practice routine. Because
Oh,
I read in the Philippines that they are hardcore believers that you develop the most muscle memory first thing when you wake up and right before you go to bed. And so I was experimenting with that concept, and I did a full like 20 to 40 minute routine before I let myself like go on about my day, before like yeah, before I went to the bathroom in the morning, and then I would do that also at night. So it was crazy.
that's not where I expected that to go. Like I thought this was like simulating pressure. You're like, all right, I gotta get there before I get there. Oh my goodness, here we go. Cause like I can tell you like when I used to like actually like play all the time, I would simulate pressure by like going for like a light jog and then playing a game immediately after to try to simulate a high heart rate while playing. So I thought maybe that was your version of that.
No, I actually don't believe in the concept after doing it for a lot. And the reason is when I need to pee, I become very impatient. And if I'm impatient, I'm in a bad mental state. And if I'm in a bad mental state, I'm not relaxed and trusting my form of mechanics and getting frustrated. And I found that it created this, just snowball effect of poor um, habits that I was building. I was developing bad habits. Same thing. I actually used to do the same thing, like I would go for a mile run before the DPFL matches because that was when I was just coming out of my hiatus, and I was dealing with so much performance anxiety that it was one of the only things that helped with my like the butterflies in my stomach if I was like physically tired from running. But I think there's like a negative side effect that comes with cardiovascular, like, or anaerobic exercise. I'm so sorry, aerobic exercise. What am I saying? Um, Anyways, when your heart rate's going up, any kind of hit exercise too, it makes my arms feel a little noodly. Like I don't know if you experience that too, but I'm not a fan of it. So I would recommend, like, if you're gonna jog, it would have to be like an hour before your match starts.
Well, now you know. I've obviously leaned into the camp of not jogging, at all ever, and it's showing. I can tell you, I've had the experience of being on trampolines lately, or at least everyone did at that Florida bull shooter. How about that bouncy little castle we were in? That was an interesting experience.
I would love nothing more than to be in a bounce house with you, Nick. Shoes
I
off,
I love it.
double bouncing. Yeah.
We can make that. That's a video. Like I don't know what like we do. Like we took over the A to Z warehouse and all we did was bounce. Like I don't know exactly what the video is yet. I'm let me workshop it, but
No, no, no,
there's
no,
something
no.
there.
This is just for you and me. What happens in the bounce house is like for our eyes only.
What do you think's happening in this bounce house,
I
Jennifer?
don't know. I don't want the world to see is all I'm trying to say.
Well, let's talk about showing the world some stuff, Jen. I think we're about ready to talk about content creation and you. We're going to talk everything. Everything, all the dirty laundry that goes into content creation, the highs and lows of some of it, the types of videos we do. I think a lot of you guys ask us questions all the time. And I think this is a great episode to really dive deep into everything about the contents and stuff that we do. So, Jen, why don't you start by just talking about like why did you personally get into like content creation, kind of your background with YouTube and everything else?
You know what's crazy is you proposed this to me like, like an hour before we started filming today, and I was like, "Oh, I need to like think about this." I had never considered why I do the things that I do, especially when I was 23. Well, 21 actually is when I first started playing darts, but I don't think I started making videos till I was 23. And this is gonna sound so sad. I genuinely think I started vlogging out of loneliness and out of a need to learn and put out information about darts because you couldn't find anything anywhere circa 2013. No websites, hardly any managed Facebook pages. Like, I never had social media and I had to get it in order to learn anything about where a local like tournament was going to be or leagues and find other like-minded people. I was driving an hour north to Everett. I was driving to Portland, Oregon, like a couple hours down south from me. Like, I was going all over Washington trying to figure out like where are all the tournaments? Like, how do I learn about it? It took a lot of effort, and there was no like lived experience out there of I foolishly thought you could play darts for a living, and I was attempting to give that a go. And I started vlogging my experience of like, okay, here's the recap of the Portland Open, here's a recap of the local like WDFL state tournament or whatever. I didn't really do like I didn't naturally want to do product reviews or anything. It just kind of got put upon me because of sponsors. But the personality content, like personality marketing, was something that I just did naturally without thought. There was nothing or no one pressuring me to. I think it was born out of true necessity. Um, but and no one else was really doing it. So, I mean, I would love to go back to the archives and kind of figure that out and see like, was anyone else that was a traveling competitive pro making content, like actively making content? Not even David Fadden was really doing it back then. Honestly, I don't know. So it was insanely easy to develop. Okay, I'm overselling it. It was fairly easy to develop a following, truly just out of lack of competition, and definitely like female creators are a dime a dozen, even today, even with the explosion of social media. So yeah, I think that's my experience in a nutshell, and it's taken off like crazy since then. But in your case, you were definitely a super fan of content creators well before you made darts content. But I know you've always been a fan of creation in like other realms, right? Like video games.
Yeah, so you're talking like 2013. You're like, I'm gonna pave the way for darts YouTube, which is not actually what your thought
Yeah.
was, but like you were doing
Yeah.
it right.
Yeah.
2013, I was still a Minecraft YouTuber. So like for me, it was like growing up, and it's so funny because I've like tracked down like the butterfly effect as far as I can go. And so this is gonna sound like it doesn't make any sense for a minute, and then we're gonna like I swear it circles back, but when I was in middle school, I started making friends with some dumb boys I went airsofting with in Stole Valor. And with that friend group, we all started like playing like Call of Duty and stuff like that. There's like circa 2010, 2011, like 10 to 12-year-old boy stuff. And what was funny is as we started getting really into those games and I started getting into this friend group, they all got Xboxes. My dad, ride or die PlayStation guy, right? And so all my friends would be on Xbox Live, and so like my in school friends, even though we would sleep over, we'd hang out, and it didn't actually affect the individual friendships. I didn't actually play games with them like at home very much, and so that kind of like started to like leave me with the need to like fill that gap a little bit more. And one day I watched a YouTube video. I don't remember if it was Paul Soares Jr. or someone else, of this game that was in alpha called Minecraft. And like, it was like in alpha early stages. I looked into it. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to get it. And I remember my dad just like bought an upgraded computer. It wasn't like a gaming computer, but it was enough. And so he bought like a pretty decent computer. And I got Minecraft, and then I started going on to the like Minecraft YouTube because I was like, well, I don't know how to survive in Minecraft. This game's hard. I started like watching videos on there, and I started watching Minecraft YouTubers, and then I was like, I think I could probably make some videos in Minecraft. And actually, my very like first early videos weren't even really Minecraft. I had some Call of Duty, like zombies stuff and other things. But basically, I taught myself how to download fraps, not even pay for it. I pirated that. I learned how to pirate software at like 10 or 11 years old, downloaded fraps, and I started screen recording myself playing video games with my little crappy headset. And eventually, I saved up and bought the OG Blue Yeti at the time, and like bought a microphone, and I just started.
This
There's your
guy
blue
right here.
snowball. No, no, that's a snowball. I sprung. I went one tier above that. And I started recording myself playing video games, and then I started going on the Minecraft forums and finding other like-minded other 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, and thankfully, wow.
Got zoo tight.
I started finding other ones that weren't adults pretending to be kids. By the way, we actually got on a lot of Skype calls back at the time. Definitely could have been down a very different pipeline. And we started. I was like, you know what? Like, let's all work together. And so then I started Wild Diamond Gaming, and like we all had a shared password, and we would take turns uploading videos onto that channel, and like
Cool.
organizing projects and like giveaways. We had our first podcast at the time, and it was all of 2 episodes. Guys, it really is hard to hit 11 episodes. Okay, we really worked hard. And then yeah, from there I got really into it. I did it for a few years, but like I probably made a couple hundred videos, and nothing really came of substance. And then fast forward, I'm in high school and I was in a journalism class. And last second, one of my electives opened up for TV production. So I decided to switch from journalism to TV production my freshman year. And I took that for 3 years straight. But I did not. I did not attend high school my senior year, and that's when I learned the fundamentals of shooting. They gave us all our own camcorders. They gave us Final Cut Pro, and then eventually they got us all certified in Adobe Premiere Pro at the time. And that's where I learned how to start making videos. I made some skits back in high school, and I realized, oh, I really like this. And I thought for a long time that like I was going to be a screenwriter. This actually was one of my jobs I thought I wanted to do. No, I learned I did not want to do that. That's hard. And I didn't really think about it much else until it got near COVID, and I started streaming myself playing video games. And then I was like, well, I'm going to stream myself playing Grandboard. And I started playing Grandboard. And then again, kind of didn't really think about it. And then the CSC happened, and the rest is history, right?
Mm.
But that, I mean, I got into it because I watched it and I consumed it. But I have not had a cable subscription my entire life. I watch more YouTube than any other platform. I
Yep.
probably watch 1 to 4 hours of videos a day, and that's including like like when I'm cooking, I have a video playing in the background. When I'm going to bed, I put on a 30-minute. Like I've been falling asleep to history videos again lately, so boys thinking about the Roman Empire, right? But I just love it. I love everything about the
Such a
creator
boy
economy.
thing to do.
Oh, I love it. I love my little history. I want to learn about the Japanese economic miracle of the 1980s. That was the one I watched today driving back from the airport.
You and Will are big history buffs, and I am turning into one in my late age of 40. It was my worst subject in school. Well, math and history were definitely my worst. Yeah, and I just became like appreciative of time and space and grew up quite a bit. And yeah, I definitely have an interest now, but I always forget that about you and Will, that you both appreciate history and have always.
Oh yeah, absolutely freaking lutely. I mean, listen, I went to Philadelphia for a concert in December, and during the daytime when the concert wasn't going on, I would literally have Hamilton on loop while walking around historical sites. And if that, I was like, man, I really should be bullied more. Like maybe this is too much expression. Like, is this the line? Don't agree. What is wrong with you? Oh man. But I think the moral of the story of like how we got into it was not because we wanted to be successful at it. It was because we wanted to do it for one reason or another. For me, I wanted to do it because I genuinely enjoyed the process of going
Oh
from
yeah.
starting to finishing content. And I think that was kind of the same for you.
Oh, to this day, I do not. That is not ever been my motivation to be good at it. It is only, is somebody out there going to resonate with it or learn from it, or am I going to be infectious with the fun that I have playing darts? That is the only goal. And so I think that there's kind of a collective thought out there that content creators are self-important. They're doing it for money. They're exploiting the thing that you love. Whatever the case may be, that's certainly not the case in such a small niche thing like darts. Like, I mean, I certainly feel like secondhand embarrassment to a couple of female creators out there who are essentially just using sexuality exclusively to make content, or it's like completely staged like checkout and then just like shaking their tits after. Like, obviously I'm
Like Will with his 180
cringing in my
video
seat.
today. I'm just saying, just saying.
Yes, he is the exact person I'm talking about. No, it's just, it's a little brutal like when stuff like that happens, and there's an audience for that. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. I'm just saying I feel secondhand embarrassment, like you wouldn't believe like what coming across it, because of course anything darts related is going to get served in my algorithm, so I see it all. And I think that's my only goal, is to kind of never be perceived that way. But you can't escape the judgment that's going to come from others of thinking like you're either just exploiting some topic within darts to make, for attention or money or whatever the case. There's money.
No money.
Or you're just trying to give like fake advice without any lived experience or anything to show for it. So I think I'd like to challenge. Oh shit! Damn, you just be name dropping. I think I would like to challenge those two things today with the pointed question later.
Yeah, and again, guys, we'll be talking about content creators and how they help grow darts. I think for a lot of people, there's now this like, there was always a stigma, I feel like, around some like content creators.
Yeah,
and it's about like getting started and everything else. Like, you know, when is someone allowed to start making content? Because God, I hate it. I'm gonna rant for a second, because I saw like some, especially like looking at some of the newer creators that are getting into the space, this like weird gatekeeping culture of, well, you haven't played darts long enough, you haven't won anything, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. Like these false set of prerequisites. Yep, we nailed it. That they have to hit to be able to be a viable content creator, which is not true depending on what kind of content you're doing, right? Now, if you're going there saying this is what you need to do to be a pro and you're not a pro, yeah, okay, maybe
yeah,
it's not it. But when you're going out there, and an example I give of a creator that's doing it particularly well, obviously some bias here, but Jazzy Clark Darts, right? In the last 8 months now, she started posting videos, and you can tell from 8 months ago the initial like, hey, this is just my experience. I went over to this tournament, I did this thing, here's a clip from the live stream. And now it's like the evolution of that content of like showing personality, doing like TikTok trends with different players, going there and asking random questions and playing dart legs, and just like going there and really kind of just like celebrating the game. Like, it's not, there's not really even any particular stances. I mean, hell, one of her videos was just showing that she got a Bulls Black advantage board, and that's all it was, right? And it was like, what drives me crazy is like, you look at creators like that and other up and coming creators and say, oh, well, why do they get to make a video? Well, because they put the time in and edit. That's as simple as that. Like, I don't understand this. You have to be this level to start making content mindset.
Yeah, it's brutal. I think like it should be incredibly obvious the tone of the video the moment you see it. So if someone is genuinely just sharing their passion and they're excited for the things and the fun, cool toys that they have, like even for myself, I have a long-standing rule with myself. I will never do a product review on my own just because. I will only ever do that on my corporate pages because that's my job. They pay my whole entire livable wage to make sure that I'm doing certain things in an appropriate environment. I also don't like doing product reviews, so you just won't find me doing it naturally on my own. But it doesn't mean that I couldn't get paid someday personally to do those things. It's just that even for myself, like showing how, and I was like just surprised that Tirza was like really excited to like go down this road of like auto scoring with Steel Tip. She knows she wants to play 501 with me more, right? And even just doing those couple of posts, you just have a long slew of being like, auto scoring's terrible for the game. Why are you trying to push the Omni on people? Like, you're going to get that kind of reaction. It's like, no, I'm just really stoked that my wife wants to play more darts with me. That is the tone and the message and the call to action at the end of this video. And then I was just like, well, now I am going to push this product. All these, like, Are you really telling me that chalk is the answer to teach and excite young
Hmm.
people at how to get starts? If I may, I know. Okay, can I
You
rant
may.
really, really quick?
This is a safe space.
This is off topic, but players don't suck at math and counting and arithmetic because they have auto scoring. Players don't suck at math and arithmetic and counting because they play soft tip darts. Players suck at those things because they never apply themselves to learn said thing. You can do both. Both things can exist. They are not directly correlated with one another. A soft tip player is literally never setting up to double out ever. They don't have any experience regardless of whether the machine is counting for them or not. They're not putting themselves in an environment where they need pattern recognition and to do subtraction. And the same thing goes like, yes, auto scoring is going to do it for you, but it doesn't mean that I can't also take the time to make sure I'm counting along the way and then using it to double check my math or using it to initially learn checkout routes, but then rely on my own memory and develop pattern recognition. You have to apply yourself to gain these skills. They don't just happen because you're forced to by self marking. Trust me, I have been traveling and competing against people that have been playing steel tip darts, marking by hand, chalking, who can't count because they still don't apply themselves to learn their multiplication tables. They don't learn proper routes. They don't use flashcards or games or 121 practice routes. It is a separate skill. It doesn't just perfectly happen because you play 1,000 legs of 501. If you're never thinking and trying, like even some really, really talented players, I can't tell you how many times I've watched them go for treble 20 when they should clearly be going to the treble 18 to allow themselves more darts at a finish, or they don't even it out. They don't go for a treble 19 to even the score in really obvious situations where you would want to do that because your missed dart into the 20 or whatever is going to allow for better combinations after. So I could go on and on and on. I'm just saying, like, just because there was an archaic way of doing it that kind of forced you to sort of learn, it doesn't mean that people are going to perfectly figure it out. Because at the end of the day, we're not teaching people the proper tools and skills outside of just playing to be good at counting. Myself, like, and you screw up, like that's just going to happen, and no amount of lack of auto scoring is going to change that. So, if you want to be an incredible counter and never leave a bogey out again, like you have to sit down and study and practice and apply yourself. So, I'm just so sick of it, man.
Yeah, idiots. Get together. Get together, you dummies. Learn how to count. Watch
Ugh.
Alex videos. He makes videos. He does a great
Dude,
job.
he makes so many videos. I'm not even saying don't be a dummy and learn how to count. I'm just saying don't be ignorant and blame soft tip and auto scoring for people that never learn multiplication tables and never learn
Mm-hmm.
checkout routes. Like they still don't know,
No,
regardless of whether auto scoring's happening or not, dude. The average person isn't great at counting.
I think that's bang on. People like to have these takes, and here's the thing: I will challenge anybody that has this like elitism mindset of this is how you have to learn math. This is why auto darts is bad, and everything else. Make a video, show your research, prove it. Not just be angry in the
Ooh.
comments. Prove it. Show your freaking work, because I guarantee you, there's not the data on your side. Fun fact: people just like to have fun doing darts in their own way, and if that way doesn't align with how you have fun, then don't yuck their yum. That is really as simple as it is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was hilarious. Even Greg Tong, co-founder of Dark Connect, came
Heard of
in
them?
and was all heated, and yeah, and he was just like, "Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable the amount of heat that Dark Connect has gotten over time of how their software is ruining the spirit of darts. They only have." An incredible global deal with the PDC. Uh, like God forbid it attracted so many new kids. It's not like he was just going on being sarcastic. It's not like a young kid's ever going to be world champion someday. Like coming in from utilizing Dark Connect. And anyway, it's all of that aside, I can't believe people don't understand that auto scoring makes you play so much faster. You get so much more practice time in so much quicker. It is infinitely more fun and easy to immediately just set up. I literally press a button, I press power on my tablet, and I'm ready to go. Like it's just,
Also,
I don't get it.
here's what I don't get about it. And I know we're now deep in the rabbit hole, but here's what I don't get. So someone goes in there and they go to Jim Mounce's video and their takeaway is auto scoring is ruining math and people suck at it. Isn't that, if that's truly what you believe, why are you mad about it? That means your opponents are dumber. Like, if you believe that, it means you're playing dumber opponents on average. How is
No.
that? No. But seriously, if you believe that, then the average opponent is worse by your definition if they've only played in those environments. Shouldn't you be benefiting off the average collective consciousness lowering their IQ? Is that, like, I don't understand what your take is. If you don't like it and you already have the smarter math, then you're fine in your world. Then nothing changes. What is that? Like, it's such a nothing burger.
It is a nothing burger, but I can't get behind that just because they're, of course, coming from the perspective of like, I want what's best for the sport as a whole and to watch it grow. But of course they don't, because they haven't applied themselves to understand what actually attracts new people to the game and young people to the game. So
what's best for the sport is what gets the total number of interest from fans and playing culture. That is literally as simple as it is. It is not the ability to have a chalk and do math. Now, it doesn't mean that you need chalk to do math. It's if you follow the logic to its fullest extent, you realize how faulted it really is when it comes down to anything. It's the same idea of like, put away the toy darts, right? And we soft put away the toy darts. It's just a kid's game. Why are they playing the kids game? If there's more people base level interested in steel tip truly, if you believe by default that steel tip truly is better and you see soft tip as a child's version of it, do you not think that children graduate to nicer toys? Like, follow the logic fully. Like, I mean, truly play out what your take is, because it probably is invalid. And if you're watching this podcast and you're an hour into this and you have this opinion, well, you're not watching this podcast, because all our fans are always valid. We love you guys. Like, pay your socially, just like a normal amount.
This is exactly why I defend soft tip, is because if someone was like, I've kidnapped your family and you have 24 hours to bring me like 100 new players that are interested in steel tip darts, you think I'm really going to go find some playing volleyball and try to convince them to play darts? No, I'm going to go to every goddamn soft tip darts bar in the world and be like, yo, there's this other thing called steel tip that's the exact same but sweeter, and here's all the reasons why, and here's like your claim to fame of going to the big league someday, and you want to double the amount of tournaments you go to, and you have open entry. You don't have to play league to enter into these tournaments. You can just fly in, drop in, play open events. Yeah, I'm gonna convert soft tip players into steel tip players. That's where I have always found there to be so much potential, and I'm excited that there are so many people playing soft tip darts. It is that much easier to get them to play both. Beyond all that, even if you don't care about growing the actual base number of steel tip players, soft tip players watch steel tip darts online. They're spectators. They're helping promote the sport by being eyeballs on the screen and helping with analytics. They're paying for ad spend. Like, they're just doing all kinds of things. They're watching not only PDC. Milo, I'm in an impassioned speech right now.
He knows your stress. He's helping out.
He's a great ESA, actually. Anyway, I think all of this is relevant. I'm sorry, folks, you sweet, sweet fans, you 5 sweet fans out there who have been going along this ride. It's an important lesson that when you open yourself up to the world, you are going to have to be opinionated and provocative. There is no avoiding it. Even if you're trying to be like Jazzy Clark Darts and you're trying to be cute and entertaining and just be infectious with your fun, somebody's going to come in and talk some shit because you're putting yourself out there. And you have to be prepared to understand, am I going to die on this hill like I am right now, where I always fight people online over this? I won't let the ignorance fly. I always give them a response. They never write back. It's not fun, but I always give a response and make sure they fully understand the claim that they're making.
Before we kind of, we're gonna like pivot back into your, hi guys, it's a content creation episode. Let's just acknowledge, what it actually takes to be a creator. There's multiple different genres. But what's funny is that there's always this connotation assumption that you have to have an ego to be able to put yourself out there like that. In fact, it's quite the opposite a lot of times. Now, don't be wrong. excuse me, not don't get me wrong. There, you can have a little bit of cockiness, a little bit of confidence. I say it in darts. You, like I said earlier in this very episode, like I think you should be cocky as long as you match it with humbleness, right? You have to have the ability to in yourself to be able to put yourself out there and be able to truly like be unguarded and put yourself out there to an extent. But that doesn't
Yeah.
equate to ego of saying, well, I want people to see me out there. In fact, I think that any of us know we're more proud of the product we put out than our individual performance in said product 9 times out of 10. One time out of 10, I hit a blind 180 on Jen, and I'm really proud of that. Right? Like one time out of 10. 9 times out of 10, I'm happy because we got to put together a sick full package. And so, when we talk about these people that are a little bit more antagonistic to content creators and content's being made in general, what that actually is you paying the price of ambition, right? A lot of people just 99.9% of players will not get into true content creation other than the basic social media recap post. Instead, what will happen is that they will go out there, they'll play their tournament, they'll go about their life. The 0.01% that decide to go and take it to that next level are putting themselves in a more vulnerable position, and they're doing something that is harder to do, and that is having the ambition to try. There is a price to that, and the price is that you might have to sign a hat after losing a match and get made fun of by Adam Savato. Love you, Adam. He didn't know I lost that match for the race.
Of course, yeah.
I tell people like to circle back to the question that caused Jen to go on that valid rant, is how does one get started making content? I mean, truly ask yourself, do you have something that you want to make? Because once you start making it, there's a whole world of other things that you then might decide you do want to make. Maybe you don't like your original concepts. Maybe you want to make other kinds of things. If you have a specific thing, like an actual vision for what you want to put out, and it doesn't have to be 100% unique. I also hate this. You don't have to completely invent a brand new concept for the first time ever and say that this is it. And if someone else has done even something slightly similar to it, then they're copying you. Sorry, you're not the only one that can ask questions about Chinese food. That's just the case. Instead, ask yourself, is there something that you truly feel inspired to make? Is there some way you can also help try to make it a part of your own identity, whether it's just through your personality of how you do it or specifics of the content itself? And then it's really as simple as just going out there and trying to do it and failing. That is it. That is really how you get started making content.
Well, it's incredibly simple. So I would say everyone's mind goes to like, I need to like theoretically figure out everything about the content creation before I start. And it's the exact opposite. Please trust me when I say I've been making videos for 13 years specifically about darts at this point. And the one lesson I continue to try to teach myself is to create what I call down and dirty content, meaning don't overcomplicate it. Don't create some kind of an ideation that involves a shit ton of post editing or a complicated film setup. At the end of the day, don't sacrifice, sorry, don't sacrifice ideation, but sacrifice quality to a certain extent in order to just get things done, especially when you're first starting. And just don't even for a second worry about equipment. That is something I, as a professional content creator for a corporation, I have a team that we discuss equipment and we're worried about it as a corp. Like, I am never worried about it as an individual person. It is completely fine and understandable and even preferred by viewers for you to just hold your cell phone in front of your face. So if you want to do what's called a talking head video, where you're sitting there and you're a floating head and you have things to say and you have a funny, cute personality or just an interesting way to execute an idea, calm down, Nick. Just get it done. Just try. Yes, I will say with certain platforms, you can be punished for having a ton of content that doesn't perform, but don't stress about that. Get into all the nuance of that way later after you've made 100 videos. Then start thinking deeply about what your exact content strategy is. If you're starting from literally zero, just please, please, please don't theorize. Like, I think, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm just going to take that like a step further, like to the actionable item, because Jen is absolutely right. The more you overcomplicate, the more you'll just never do it because you'll never be ready because there's always something else to learn. What I do think to take that away though is like, if you do have a really complicated idea, it doesn't mean never do it. It means write it down, right? Write down these ideas. I don't care if it's a notepad on your phone, a sticky note on your computer, a piece of actual paper in the year of 2026, Nikki Hinshaw. When you write down these different ideas, you can start organizing them by your feasibility to be able to do it, right? And just pick the one that you feel the most inspired by, particularly ones that you know you can start and finish pretty easily to get going. You'll get into the rhythm. You'll start learning by doing. Because if you paid it, just like Jen said, like if you're getting caught up in the metrics of what's best for the individual platforms, especially at the beginning, you're not going to be successful. If we only went off based off metrics of platforms and the best way to do things, this podcast would not exist at all. Like it just simply wouldn't exist. And you can spend all this time theorizing, but if you spend so much time learning without doing, you'll never actually get anything of substance with how much it changes. I mean, Jen, you, me, Will, a couple others used to have meetings 4 years ago talking about our SEO and strategy for YouTube and content and matches. 90% of that's changed.
Totally irrelevant now.
Yeah, 90% is completely different.
And that was a learned behavior of mine as a leader, that was a huge waste of company time. Like I set and created SOPs and training guides about how to elevate SEO with YouTube, and it is completely irrelevant now. All that matters when it comes to content creation is the retention and watch time. Yeah. Your hook, you need to think about the first 2 to 3 seconds, your exact verbiage. Do not waste the viewer's precious time. You have to clarify exactly what your video is going to be about immediately. And if you can take it one step further and give yourself credibility, and that could be with 3 words. I've been a darts content creator for 10 years. Here's what I wish I knew 10 years ago. Simple as shit. Like that, you know? Well, yes. The first 3, the first 5 words were establishing the video idea. And then the second 5 words, or sorry, the first 5 words were establishing my credibility. And then the second 5 words were the hook of the video. And so they worked in conjunction together to create the baseline. So never, ever, ever introduce yourself. You always, always, always assume that every word like has a diminishing return, like as you go with your hook. So that's probably the only important thing to think about right from the start. And then just don't worry about equipment.
I would say the only other important thing that is, again, a pretty low bar, it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't, is decide what platforms you actually care about, but do more than one. Right. But when you make content, having it live only on one platform, unless you're a famous content creator that has an exclusivity contract with said platform, which isn't even us, that's a big difference maker. So like when you go decide, you know what, I mostly do short form. I'm going to do like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, Instagram, right? Like whatever you decide to do, just do more than one platform and keep your branding consistent across the platform. So when you have a different username for every platform with one character difference because the username was taken, you need a better username. Nick D Does Things is truly, I know that no one's going to steal that because it also has a stutter built into it. Nick D Does Things. You know, like whatever it is, Jen Mounts Darts, you know, Alex Spellman's, or the New Biz Academy branding. Like, I mean, both very individualized. Stick to one branding, try multiple platforms, and then just go make some stuff. Write down the ideas if they get too crazy, and then eventually you'll figure out enough stuff to be able to do your crazy ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I would even go one step further. We can objectively say what platforms are the most important in the world of darts in North America. If you are over the age of 30.
Rumble, True Social, Reddit, I don't know.
Christ.
LinkedIn,
Tumblr. Okay, listen up. Without a doubt, objectively true, you need to start with Facebook. Absolutely must be your number 1 platform, and it's going to pay you the quickest. Number 2, TikTok. Even though the age thing, it's the best chance to have explosive virality randomly, but it will also, some great content will flop on TikTok because it is very sensitive to like the timing of when you post. And there's nothing wrong with deleting a video and trying that exact same video again on a different day and time. Don't be afraid to be redundant. This is something I argue with my own internal team all the time. We are crazy to think that our entire 50,000 followers are all seeing every single piece of content. They're not. A small subset of them, very, very small subset of super fans, are seeing every bit of content of yours. And if they're super fans of yours, they want to see more. So they're not going to be mad if you're going to ramp up the amount of posts, even if you're repeating yourself. So just don't don't be arrogant in thinking that, oh, I can't say this again or in a different way. Think about marketing. Like, the science is clear. You need to be shown an advertisement like 26 times before you make a decision on a purchase. Like, life is crazy, man. Don't stress about that stuff. Just get stuff out there as quickly as possible. Start with Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube if you're going to do long form content, but shorts are a little bit tough in the darts world. Personally, if you're American, just don't be on X. There's zero presence for darts, but it's huge overseas. So if you think you're going to get a following that is European or in Asia or like just somewhere outside of North America, then sure, post on X. I have no, I think my 3 followers went down to 2 the other day.
I
Like,
unfollowed. I'm sorry.
it's just irrelevant. It's just irrelevant in the darts world. So that's all you need to know, hopefully,
Uh,
to get started.
So with that being said, let's talk about like what makes a good video. We'll talk about some of our videos that we've seen success either personally or through USA Darts over or A to Z over the last few years, and kind of just talk about like what made them good. Right. The obvious one is always 9 dart reels, right? And 9 dart videos and matches. Those obviously are self-explanatory. No one needs to explain why 9 dart goes viral. I do love how they've changed. So before 9 darts, when we would catch them, it would be 9 darter hit, 9 darter hit by this. Alex Spellman hits a 9 dart, like whatever version of that caption you type in, right? Then like now I've gotten goofy. So like I just did one from this most recent bull shooter during the invitational. And Gino Florian's playing Alex Spellman and he's down 3-0 or maybe 4-0 in a race to 5. And Gino just randomly pops a 9 dart on him. And it was funny because when I was like putting together the caption, I was sitting next to Gordon Dixon and I said to him, how about a 9 bomb from Time Bomb? And as the caption, because he goes by Time Bomb as a dart player. And he goes, that's on brand for you. So in the most Gordon Dixon dry way. But I was like, I wondered if like people would understand that it was a 9 darter. I wonder how much that would convey. And what's
Right.
funny is now in his local community, they've been calling him 9 bomb. And the way we edited that reel too, it wasn't just the 9 darter. It was the reaction after of Alex Spellman kind of jokingly saying, you still have to hit the button. And then that video became a discussion piece and it like really elevated itself through the context of the match without actually showing the rest of the match. When we get clips like that and we get these perfect games, they obviously will perform well on their own, but there's ways to extract every bit of value out of how it performs.
Yeah, I mean, you can find a way to tease what's about to happen of that incredible moment and then start playing the raw footage leading up to the big payoff being the incredible thing that happens in the end. You got to cut every little bit of dead air out as possible. I mean, I'm even down to like frame by frame. Like, I won't let something go on for 1 frame too long. And like, we're getting a little complicated here, but just that internal ability to have like what we call pacing in video editing and these creative choices that you can make, like, it's, you might just have it right out the gate, but really our goal will probably just be to give you the language that you need to then Google things and kind of research on your own how to get better with every single video. There's really common advice out there from the biggest YouTubers in the world is all you should do as a beginner, you make one video, great, publish it, don't sit on it. You'll never edit it if you sit on it too long. If you film something really complicated, you'll never edit it because, like Nick said, you're going to learn a new trick and you're like, I wish I'll refilm it now. You just have to understand that in a week's time or a month's time, you're going to look back and be embarrassed at your first piece of content that went out. Every single day now, I look back and I'm like, could have done that better, but I'm glad I got it out and I learned something from it. So each and every video you do, just change one single thing to make it better. And try to put out as much content as possible to learn, because you just never know. One idea you have might really resonate with people. Other things you're certain of, maybe you're just marketing to yourself and you're the only one that thinks you're funny. And that happens to me all the time. I think I'm
You
hilarious.
are.
I'm a,
You are. You
I'm
do think that.
objectively not. I'm objectively not funny to the whole world. That's not my shtick. Like, I'm an informative, like, my best skills are definitely just like communicating information. It's not being funny. So figure out what your personality and niche and everything is, and like how that makes you different from people, and really lean into that. It's common
Yeah.
sense. Just be the best version of yourself that you can be.
Well, and again, it's packaging, right? So, obviously, like not everything we're going to talk about here is stuff that you can immediately apply, right? But once you start playing around with the captioning of your different reels, right, or your different long form videos, the thumbnails of everything else, like what makes a good video is how engaging the first 30 seconds is, and then how you package it to get people to buy into that first 30 seconds. We know that. Again, that's the difference between 9 dart reels across different tournaments and everything else. It's also like, you hit one at Whammo, you hit one at Whammo, you hit one, to go to ESPN. That's a different story, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then, there's certain things that are just out of your control. Sometimes good content's good because it just naturally happens and you get the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to capture something. I mean, Ram falling in that foot race is the freest 70,000 views I've had in my entire career, Jen.
Yeah.
That was so free. And you can't predict that. Just like you couldn't predict Robert Main falling off the stage at DPFL and getting a free 2
Yes.
million views, or Scott
180
Harris also
floor.
180 floor.
The
You can't
gift that keeps on
predict.
giving.
You just can't predict stuff like that, like to happen. Which kind of falls back into what makes a good video is always being ready to capture a moment. And obviously, like those are, one was just recording something random happening at like outside in a parking lot. One was the rest were like from live streams. But when we even record this podcast, I recorded for the extra 5 minutes before and an extra 5 minutes after, typically in case something really funny happens. 99.9% of the time that footage gets deleted, and that 0.01% of the time I caught the thing I've always wanted to catch, because there's so many times where I wish I hit record just a few seconds earlier, because sometimes what makes a good video is the part that you could have never planned for happening.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the coolest thing about the darts community, like people who consume content for darts, they have incredible sense of humor. Like, it's so easy to have funny things go viral, specifically in darts. And like, we love to make fun of each other. My entire friendship with Nick and Will is us like just obsessively like ripping on each other. It is just a guaranteed aspect of like how we are convincing people to want to get excited about playing darts, and like making fun of your friends, and like in a lighthearted way, nothing crazy. The crazy stuff happens off camera. The
Oh,
unforgivable
oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Jen, you really got to stop using that word, by the way. Like off camera, there's some
Oh,
words you use. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's another thing about the darts community that you have to lean into. Like, they're incredibly crass. Like, there's just no escaping it. Like, if you're a prude, this isn't the industry for you. It's just there's a little bit of that. We ride that dragon from time to time. Nothing crazy. I got a little crazy during COVID, but outside of that, I'm pretty proud, I think, of my content record. Um, of being genuinely authentic and trying to actually be helpful and get good information out there. So if you're if you're either happy with how entertaining you are making your content, or you're happy about the information you're putting out there, then you're crushing it. You're nailing it. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, why would you make a video? Are you doing it just to copy every other content creator out there? Do you not even enjoy it? Like, don't do it. Like, the
well,
success isn't worth it for sure.
and then there's like other kinds of videos that like I'm gonna kind of shoot off a couple here and kind of talk about what makes it good versus bad real quick. So like player interviews typically will never do well, and at best you get a really good soundbite from that interview that you could use, especially in other forms of content, repurposing it. Occasionally you'll get
Mhm.
something, but 99%, I keep using that percentage, is it doesn't work. But then you get something like John Page at the Las Vegas Open, where it's more of a story that's being told via the form of the interview, and really introducing, setting up, and then executing the entirety of the concept. And John saying, "I'm not disabled. You are a dart player with no hands," right? Like you get impactful moments, and that's more of a story being told through the guise of an interview, versus something like what's so funny is like we've come up with some pretty complicated videos and challenges and shorts. Honestly, the ones that have really been showing to perform quite well, I know personally, I've made a lot of these in this year, is these like mash style, like ask a question, compile a bunch of answers TikToks. So
Mhm.
like the tips or shafts video, going around and asking people who's the best dart player in the room, asking people very basic questions, not rapid fire. Sorry, still not ripping you off. I'm just asking one question. It's different conceptually. I swear I'm not
Is this
mad at
a
him.
real thing?
Is it?
Is
Um,
it a real thing he complained about?
well, I mean, do you think he watches this podcast?
I'm probably not. I'm just we've mentioned it like multiple times, and I'm genuinely surprised that
He, in the last
every
two tournaments, has made some jokes towards me about us ripping off his content.
well, if it's jokes, it's jokes. But at the end of the day, we're all incredibly unoriginal. None of this is like from off the dome. All of these are
Hmm.
actual trends that exist in every other industry. Literally nothing is unique. Like
Yeah.
it's just simply not possible. Like do not be so arrogant to think that interviewing a player is a unique thing that's your shtick. It's like
Yeah.
saying like people can't have an eagle on their jersey. Like it's arts. Everyone's gonna have an eagle, a
No one can have a
bull.
fruit jersey,
Like
though. I mean, this
no,
is
yeah,
off
nobody can
limits.
have a fruit jersey. Yeah.
This, unfortunately, is like
If you're
copywritten.
wearing fruit, yeah, if you're wearing fruits on your jersey, you're gay. That's without a doubt.
Oh yeah, no, but jokes aside, there, yeah, having like those basic mash things where it's like super simple in concept is honestly like what makes a good video is a concept that can be understood and a promise be delivered, right? What makes bad videos, conversely, is videos that are too complex for the average person or take too long to get to the point or don't ever get to that point. Like you can clickbait a video as long as you actually do follow through with what you clickbaited about. But if you clickbait on a video and never deliver, then you're going to have a problem, right?
Yeah.
And then of course, I think the other types of content that I mean, especially in our community, that does particularly well is content that causes discussion. This podcast has not been particularly successful, but boy, has our talk about sponsorships been a very hot button stuff, and content around that has done particularly well.
It depends though on what you define as like what constitutes success, because if vanity metrics are what you're out for, you want the largest number of impressions, engagements, and like comments and people engaging, then that's one thing, and there's a reason short form lives for that. But what Nick and I talk about all the time is like a podcast like this is really hyper nitty-gritty granular information about darts stuff only for the biggest super fans. And so of the very small subset of people that watch it, they probably have a much longer like retention. They're watching like pretty far through. This is the kind of stuff they could never get in other forms of content. Nick and I are never going, you know what I mean? Like this would never work as a planned specific short form where we only filmed for short form. Like this kind of conversational style thing is always going to be like less successful from a vanity standpoint of metrics, but a great thing that we're offering like our biggest followers for sure. uh, Endless hours of enjoyment. I mean,
Endless,
endless hours. We're on episode
endless,
11
forever.
of multiple hour podcasts. Yeah, it would take you all day long to get through them all. So we're a Harry Potter marathon at this point.
Oh God.
But yeah, yeah.
Did you know Tom Felton on Cameo costs $1,000 for a cameo?
Wow, good on
Yeah.
him for even putting that out there. What would you
Yeah.
ask him to do if you had that kind of cash to throw around?
Lower his price. Probably. That's probably what I would do.
Jeez.
Yeah. Anyways, you just brought that up and it just like stuck in my brain. I was like, I have a Harry
Dream.
Potter thing.
Hey, $1,000 dream guest on our podcast right now. Let's go halvesies.
For 1 minute, by the way.
Could you?
That's
Could
all
you?
you
Oh
get.
my! Let's
Yeah.
get him to say something crazy about darts. Should we trigger the
Um,
Europeans? Still to purists?
what
Oh, there's so
are
many
we
things.
trying to like wait, so in your world you're like, what dart players will really hate is if Tom Felton had a hot take about auto scoring.
Yeah, I want to divide. I don't think we're polarized enough in darts.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to divide us.
I think there's too much respect in darts and we need to focus on
Yeah,
losing it more. That's probably what I would say is a good starting point here.
you're so funny. And only super fans would get that reference. It's just
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, and if you signed a
Um,
sponsorship, you're a bitch. All right,
Sorry,
guys.
but you're right. These mashup style, you go out and you film the same concept with a room full of darts players at a tournament and put it together. It's my favorite series of my own too. I've loved the What Sound Does a Dart Make, matching songs to players' personalities. But without a doubt, my best performing short was the $1 hat trick challenge, where I stole other people's darts and gave them $1 if I could hit a hat trick with their darts in Nebraska. And that was highly edited video, so it wasn't easy to put together. It wasn't conceptually easy, but it was a huge payoff, without a doubt. Good thumbnail to go with it. And I think I threw like 30 people's darts and probably picked the best 12 takes or whatever. And it was just fun to do. And it's like, nobody gives you any, I don't know how you feel, Nick, but nobody ever gives me hassle about being on camera if I try to make it like not so shove camera in their face. It's about them. Like, I'm more including them in on my fun, and I
Yeah.
never had any issues with people.
You have to kind of know a little bit of like when
Yeah.
to do it and who to do it to. In general, it helps if we're already broadcasting or streaming the event because there's an expectation that that could happen now. I think we've gotten really good at setting that expectation and having signage that also says they can happen, right? But in general, and it's funny you bring that up because I was just thinking, like, about stuff that makes a good video is getting people to be comfortable on camera and helping loosen them up. And a lot of that is, especially if we're on camera with them, is trying to brunt as much of that ourselves and enabling them to get loosened
Yeah.
up, and to try to make the most of those moments. For the most part, I can tell, hey, someone really doesn't want to be on camera. I'm going to walk away. Hey, someone also making it very clear I'm not live is very, very
Mm.
helpful. I think
Mhm.
people are a lot more terrified at live because if they have the
Mm.
ability to like revoke their consent, they feel a lot more comfortable, right? And that should be important because if you go up and you go up to some of these pro players, especially like in between matches with a camera in their face, and you're not reading the room, then you're not doing it right. Like, I don't tap people on the shoulder and have them turn around. I try to make eye contact with them as I'm coming up so they know it's happening and they can give me a clear
Yeah.
body language if they don't want that to happen. And I've
That's
never
a
had
good
a
point.
particularly bad experience with that. And the handful of times where someone really didn't want something to happen, I just didn't follow through with it. Right? I just took their portion out. And that's also why if you're doing those like videos where you're going around dart halls, you try to grab 10 more people than you think you actually need, because
Yes.
hey, some of it might not. Maybe you got the camera angle wrong. Maybe the microphone wasn't working right. Maybe they gave an awkward answer. Maybe they changed their mind. You don't know.
And just bigger sample pool gives you more funny things that could happen too. So without a doubt, that's great advice. But if you're not the personality type where you can run around a tournament hall and grab a bunch of people to introduce into your content, my actually probably the highest performing video I've ever done was for A to Z. It was a short that I did a long, long time ago. I started making shorts by just doing checkout attempts. And I learned a harsh lesson right away that like if you're not incredibly good at darts, like you're gonna a lot of shit talking is gonna happen. You're gonna get some hurt feelings for sure. Especially the UK crowd. They went nuts. I had to type in my keyword filter just the word woman. Like girl, woman, go get to the kitchen, sandwich, yank. Like there's a million little keywords that I have to filter out automatically on my profiles. And slowly over time, I've blocked the really aggressive, crazy, like sex perverts and just like insane stuff, right? Um, but I was doing checkout attempts and like everyone always comes in with this feeling like you get this impression that they think you think you're incredible and you're doing it to show off. And
Hmm.
my thought was always that the tone of it is like, I kind of suck at darts and I'm just trying to do this really difficult thing. And if I do hit it, it's cool and I'm going to be really excited. And you're going to get that feeling too, like you, the way you would with a friend hitting their first 180, hitting their first 100 plus checkout. But I misread the room for sure when I first made those videos. Anyways, my best performing piece of content is me failing 5 times in a row to hit a 99 checkout. I just couldn't do it. Too hard. Hate
Hmm.
that out. And it's long too. I think it's the full 90 seconds, like max that you could have back in the day. That's been extended since then on TikTok. Anyways, it got 1 million views on TikTok. So it's insane that that many people were interested in watching the journey of me almost do something, but not quite. And that was very entertaining for them. And they all like came in and it was like, I didn't have that judgment of, oh, you think you're so great at darts. It was like all my pals came in. They're like, "You'll get it next time," sort of a thing. So that was interesting.
And that's so funny, like the way you can turn around content. Like I thought about like in February when Will and I were playing, we were just kind of recording ourselves like playing some random pickup games against each other, and I was playing awful. It's been a recurring theme this year. And as I was like playing, he goes up there and he hits a 180 and celebrates on me, and then I go up there, trip one. Last one I decided to aim for it, and I nailed the trip one, and I celebrate right back on him with the obvious like inverse garbage turn. And that video got hundreds of thousands of views. Nothing from that other like matchup was usable in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But I was able to turn that around because of the fact that like actually the fail was funnier than the success. And there's so many times where you're going to be doing these videos where you think you know exactly what's going to happen when you're recording, and then you turn it around and feel like there's a completely different way. And that's also why I implore you to like get your friends in on it, like show them your stuff that you're working on, show them different clips, see what their perspective and reaction is. If you think something happened, hey, what do you think about this? Because sometimes they help reframe something that like was completely lost notes. Perfect example, DPFL, Jasmine and I are on our content creation arc at the tournament, and I was talking about how at WDF I had a concept for a video that didn't quite work out, where I was going up to different pro players and I said, name the highest checkout you think you can hit within 3 attempts, like 3 clear attempts at that checkout.
Mm.
And if you hit it, you get on the leaderboard. We're gonna see who hits the highest checkout. The problem is you had to set a base in there of some kind, because what ended up happening is I grabbed like Chris Lim and David Fathom. I see we get along, and a few others. And I grabbed a couple of those players, and I said, Ethan DeVera, I said, go ahead and hit checkout. And they all picked 10 plus checkouts, and they all like got darts at double. None of them converted. And I realized after my filming session ended that I had 0 successful attempts, and the fails weren't funny enough on their own. And it was funny. I was talking with Jasmine. I was like, man, I really feel like the concept's there. She's like, well, there's already like that concept's kind of out there. I think I was Mission Darts maybe, or the Jack guy that posted a video, Jack Kenyon or Kenyon. Sorry if I butchered that. And it was like, you go out there and like it's bid on the darts, like name the tune style. Like I could hit 81 and 9 darts. Well, I could do it in 7. All right, I'll see it. Right. And I took that concept and I got Danny Lobby and Kevin Luke to do it. I got Laura Turner against Callie West, and I got Ashton and John Brown to do it against each other as well. And that concept immediately, like you could tell it turned around because we were filming the lobby of the event where they had a practice board, and a crowd of 20 plus people were watching this happen and cheering when things happened, like as if it was staged. And there was more people watching us film in that front room than any match on the main stage had, other than the CDC Evolution Tour finals.
Yeah, see, amazing.
And so, like, you know, take your concepts, play with it, and accept that it won't be what you originally thought sometimes. Be adaptable, and then make it your own. Like, I feel like my attempt at doing that checkout name the tune style challenge was very different in our own way. And that was also because these players are not dedicated creators, but rather individual pros that were going up against each other and trying to learn a game in the moment, rather than people that plan to do that all day.
Yeah, my advice to people is, unless you're an 80 plus average, just filming yourself playing straight legs of 501 is never going to be interesting enough unless you have an incredible personality or you're really, really attractive. So those things just don't happen like in tandem with each other usually. And that's why challenges work so well. And they're just fun. I have endless ideas of like all these challenges I'm going to surprise Tirza with, because it's so perfect too, because she's gotten to my skill level, so it's like very even, like where the competitiveness is. We don't have to handicap now, so it's just, I can't wait.
Now, just kind of breezing through, because we love talking about darts and we are crushing it. I do want to say there's some content we've worked on that we've loved that didn't perform quite well. And it's so funny because like when you have content like that, you have to kind of ask yourself, well, first off, you should always make content you're proud of, right? So if you made something and didn't perform well, boo-hoo, hopefully you enjoyed what you created. That's the point of it, right? The perfect example is this podcast. This podcast, by every definable metric other than some of the individualized reels, has not been statistically significant, which is so funny because this podcast is by far the thing that people talk to me the most about when I travel to events nowadays. And I haven't told you, like, talk
Right.
to you much about this, but the last couple of events I've gone to, people go and the people used to tell me I like your podcast. They meant they like commentary because they just interchange the word very commonly.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
Nowadays, like, no, hey, I listen to you and Jen. Like, hey, I haven't watched every episode, but listen to this one the other day. Or, hey, I put it on for 20 minutes because I happened to catch it live. And it's so funny because of how low the metrics are, but how much the actual core community really resonates. And the whole point was this is for us and then for them. And so, like, just because it didn't perform well, doesn't mean that it's not worth doing. Because I could tell you, Jen and I were having conversation the other day about the future of this podcast, and I said, honestly, having this outlet has been so wonderful with the, otherwise like struggling to be able to truly converse my opinions. And this kind of has created a pseudo safe space of that.
Yeah, it's also just like what we said in the very beginning, it's an excuse for us to get to hang out and chat, and it's, like, very focused, and we don't talk about work. We kinda just can't, and it's like, I guess I didn't realize how nice that is to have that kind of outlet as well.
Me
Um,
too.
but you have to be really careful with your time allocation if you have hopes and dreams and goals, and so, like, the biggest thing for myself that I was telling Nick is that, for folks out there that are just freshly new to content creation, unfortunately, YouTube is doubling their requirements for monetization starting February of next year. So instead of 4,000 watch hours, which is already really, really difficult to do, you're going to need 8,000. That's for long form, and then shorts, you have to consistently get 20,000. Or I'm so sorry,
20 million.
20 million 20 million views every 90 days, which is like, or sorry, 20 million to initially get monetized, and then 10 million views every 90 days after that consistently. So it's near impossible for us at the level that we are. But I've that's the kick in the pants I needed to get really focused. And not that I'm of course going to ignore my Facebook, even though that's my main, has always been my main focus. I'm going to have to kind of stop worrying about it for a little bit and just go super heavy on YouTube. So that's my hope and dream, is to finally get monetized. I've poured my heart and soul into my corporate accounts for so long, putting in my best work for A to Z, USA Darts, even like Magicware and the other things I'm involved with. And I'm finally ready to do all the ideas I've always wanted to do, because all the stuff I've done up to this point is like me quarter assing it. This is not even me trying really hard, and it makes me feel so sad that you and I and Will can have so much success without dedicating a specific plan towards content creation. We could be so much more influential and in front of so many more faces and having a bigger community of people to laugh and talk with. It bums me out that it's so much smaller than it could be. So I'm gonna make some sacrifices personally to be able to pull it off. And I have a ticking time clock now. It's like either I do it, and if I don't do it, then that's the answer I need, that I can just chill and just enjoy my time, my free time how I want. And we can podcast
Yeah.
4 times a week.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, talking about our individual platforms and like what that actually like means a little bit. Like for us, it's just as important to our actual jobs that we have some form of success in our individual sakes. The community is too small. There's not enough personalized. I think there's a version that 10 years from now we're having the same discussion, and USA Darts and A to Z Darts don't need individual personalities because they have brand associated personalities. I think of like Linus Tech Tips in that sense, right? Where like they don't need individual creators, rather they just need
Yeah.
brand hosts that eventually stem off to become creators. That's normally the pathway, right? The big network creators stem off. We're actually kind of doing the inverse. We're trying to develop ourselves as creators to help build up these individual networks and then hopefully ride that up with them. It's the inverse of what you've seen in other content platforms, and other mediums on like YouTube and social media. So for us, the importance of why we want to do this is still going to go back to that fundamental concept of we enjoy it. I mean, that truly is, it makes that a lot easier. But then the secondary part of it is it's the most impactful way to help manage the growth. USA Darts and A to Z being a brand can only hit so much of an addressable audience. we kind of have the responsibility of growing that addressable audience a little bit. And that's the idea.
Yeah.
It's not like some like true philanthropic thing where like, oh, we're trying to do this for the greater good. Yeah. Also, we do want to be monetized. Rent is due. There is also like some aspects of that. But if you think the $30 a month that I make on my Facebook account is absolutely affecting my decision making, it certainly is not. The only difference it is sometimes when I make a post that would have just been text, I add a photo of Jen doing something stupid. That is the only difference.
There's so much experimentation that you can do to figure out what works and what flops. Like I know Nick, you mentioned like there's some projects beyond our podcast that just clearly aren't successful from a metrics point of view. When we go outside the realm of darts and it's not food, that's a no-no. So I would definitely recommend at least 70% of your content should be really specifically like about darts, the darts world. All my travel stuff, even though they're highly edited and like uh, even advice for travel regarding darts tournaments, that stuff doesn't do well. People don't really want to be like prepared for stuff. They want to be entertained. They want to be entertained and they want to learn the stuff that's more like how do I check out 52? That video got 260,000 views when I post. It's literally just me saying, "How do you guys check out 52?" I like to go 20 double 16 even though I can bust on it. I just know I'll never bust on it. And it just one of those interesting things. Like it's one of the simplest uh, brain teasers out there. Infinitely outperformed everything else. Um, be a conversation starter, be entertaining, give advice, as long as you are credible. So it's really that simple, right?
Yeah, it is. I think to your other point though about these like 70% model. I mean, Colin Samir have talked about the statistic of like CCN, like core, casual, and new as types of
Right.
viewers, and your core will tune in no matter what. Your casual is people interested in the topic, and new is people that are new to you or the topic in general. Um, and so there's always a certain like if you can find a video that hits all three of those categories, you have a home run, but most videos will only hit two out of the three, and you got to pick what you want to
Mm-hmm.
focus on. And know that you have to give stuff to your core every now and again or you lose them, but they typically will
Mm-hmm.
tune in regardless. For me personally, I think I have a lot of desire to make a lot of content that isn't darts related personally. I have a whole music series that I've been wanting to do for the longest time, and if you've ever gone out to a dinner with me, you've seen me work on this video in
Yes.
private. I have always wanted to go back into doing a version of gaming content. You're not getting more Minecraft Let's Plays out of me. Sorry, guys. The real Nick Man 98 is still up on YouTube. If you want to hear about my 14th birthday, I posted a video about it. It was great. I had pizza and airsoft. It was a good day. Wish I had that for now. 20th birthday was great, though. Don't get me wrong. I had a good time. Went to Disney. But with that being said, is like you keep the ratios in mind as far as like once you start getting success metrics. That's something we have to consider because we have a base now. I can tell you guys personally, make what you freaking want to. I
Yeah.
mean, just truly figure it out. You'll figure out very quickly. I was talking with our good friend Tommy about this in Florida. I got to hang out with Mr. 2 Minutes himself, and when we were like talking to hang out, he's like, "Yeah, I gave the gaming thing an honest try. I'm really proud of some of the videos I did, and realized that's not necessarily what I wanted to do, but I really made amends with the 14-year-old version of myself that wanted that, right?" And his words, and I was like, "Dude,
Uh,
that's so for real. Like, I get it." So, make what you want to make. But sometimes you will make stuff like again, we talk about the mini golf video that we did for USA Darts, your OG Dart of the months. I remember the CSE season 5 promo being a fully animated fight scene. By every definition of every other type of video we could have done, those are all videos that failed. But they were either videos that could have gotten turned into something else, like the promos really were always designed to be not standalone, but rather to help give a semblance of a full show feeling. OG Dart of the
yeah.
month turned into its own beast. And Travel Baggage was like in experimentation and like editing and how we can try to convey different styles of content to our viewers. And mini golf was just purely a filming exercise of trying to coordinate something like that while still also like being in a public setting.
That taught us so much about how to mic up more than four people. Like we learned so many technical things during that process. So even though the content flopped, it was still fun that we did it. I would enjoy going back and watching it. And OG fans, you can go to USA Darts and watch our crew take on mini golf. Loser had to create a music video It's incredible. It's an incredible video. Like it's so good. The payoff at the end is so worth it. Nick at one point gets down on his hands and knees and shoots the ball like a pool cue and does pretty good on the mini golf course. It's a great video. Well edited, good concept, just not for darts people. So, you know, choose your time wisely, but like Nick said, like you'll figure it out quickly. Don't get too worried, but at least have the common sense to know you got to make darts content if you want to be a darts player and have a darts following.
Yes, exactly. And so I think with that being said, there's one more thing I want to cover before we get to our pointed question, which is how can viewers like actually like help out? Like what matters from a content creator's point of view to what we would love out of our audience. Jen, I mean, please take a stab.
Well, it's very simple. You're going to go to YouTube. You're going to type in Jen Mounts Darts. You're going to subscribe. And then you're going to go to all of my playlists and watch Play All. Or you're going to go to the Play Mix.
With ads on or YouTube
with
Premium
ads.
purchased.
Yeah. And then you're going to go to sleep to that. And you're just going to let that run on loop every single day until February 1st, 2027. No, so that does lead me to my first point. Watch time is the single greatest metric of all time for us. If you watch a video all the way through and you're not like hopping in and out of them or even if you watch on double speed, we're only getting half the amount of watch hours. So that's not a trick or a loophole or anything. If you watch on half the speed, we're going to get twice the amount of watch hours. So yes, that's the most important thing of showing you success, that people aren't dying after the hook. They're not feeling like they have these mini payoffs along the way. The initial 30-second retention is what we look at. YouTube has all these amazing analytics. So does Facebook. You can sit and study after you put some content out there if you want, but you don't have to get technical in the very beginning. Like I said, post 100 videos, then let's talk about strategy and figure things out. You have to get good at the skill of filming, editing, presenting on camera. There's no way you're not going to hit a home run immediately.
No, and it's funny because like you look at other creators, especially like individual streamers, especially of the TikTok variety or like the old like Twitch variety. One thing that we have never done either from the brand pages or our own is really shill for like stars or shill for gifts or dono links or memberships. And now I think we do have some of those enabled nowadays on like membership and stars. I know I have stars enabled on my page. I think someone gave me like 30 cents the other day when Will beat me 29-1. Thanks. The reason that we don't spend time shilling that stuff is because we truly take pride in the content. I'm not saying that there won't be a version of like where we don't talk about this stuff, like especially once I ever pay up on that charity live stream, I'm going to be shilling for donations the whole time. But we like to resonate with that content because we'd rather the content speak for itself and truly build upon you guys. And don't get me wrong, when I have 10 million followers, I want to be shilling for donations and then set up my retirement plan. I'm cashing out. I'm taking the bag. All right. I'm going to take 3 gambling sponsorships and I'm going to tell you guys all go get addicted to money gambling. And then I'm going to walk away to my nice yacht. But until that happens, right now, we're not going to sit there and say, all right, we're doing a stars giveaway contest, right? That's not what we're trying to do. We're going to do a members only giveaway, which I mean, and again, maybe we do experiment with that in the future. Maybe we don't. But what truly is impactful is that if you get a notification or you see one of our videos pop up in your algorithm, actually clicking on it and actually watching at the very least the first 30 seconds. Even if you're busy, if you put on for 30 seconds and go set your phone down and then tune off, that still helps because the first 30 seconds of how a viewer watches affects the algorithm distribution so significantly. The best metric, of course, as Jen said, is watch time. If you're able to watch something all the way through, I mean, if you're a super fan and you want to go and put us on your TV on mute while you're actually scrolling on your phone doing something else entirely, of course that helps out. But the best thing you can do is just actually engage with the content itself. When you click on our video, Milo, click on that video, dude.
Guys, I have vet bills. Help me out.
Yeah, he has vet bills. He eats glass.
He does eat glass.
But click on a video, and then the next best thing you can do is engage, whether it be liking, commenting, or sharing. Those types of things really do matter more. Subscribing actually matters probably the least. It's truly a vanity metric. The only thing that's
Yeah.
helpful for is your algorithm getting distributed our types of content and more consistently, and even then that's questionable at times. So I would argue that, like, if you ever hear us shilling for subscribers or followers, that's purely superlative, and honestly half the time a bit. It's really
Yeah.
more about how you watch our content and how long you watch it for.
Yes, I would even go so far as to say it doesn't matter as much anymore if people comment. Of course, like it used to have a great impact on distribution, but watch time's everything now. The way the algorithms work, so it's. I mean, for me as an individual person, the best thing you can do is comment because that's the most exciting thing. I want to hear from
Hmm.
people, even if you have something mean to say. I like fighting with people on the internet. It's
She does.
fun. Like just give me a little something, something. A comment is more just that for me is what makes it worth the while. I want to be in a community of darts players and talk to you about the content that we're creating. But at the end of the day, you actually watching it, understanding it, remembering it, believing in it, living for it. That's the most important thing.
Exactly right. And um, truly, the real thing is don't think about it too much when you're watching our stuff. If you're curious how you can help us out, it's just watching, telling your friend to check out a video, sending a link over. I will argue that like the comments on Facebook are still very important because they Facebook does value like the actual like interaction because of the type of social media platform. But yeah, if you comment on
Yeah.
YouTube, it's just because I want to read your comment.
Yeah.
And if listen, anybody that knows me knows if you try to send me a message on Messenger, there's a 99% chance I ignore you for 2 weeks by accident. If you leave a YouTube comment, I'm reading it as soon as you leave it because I have notifications on for those.
No, Nick, that's so for real because you guys have to understand we get spammed like guys, my Facebook Messenger inbox is like a Tinder dating
Hell,
profile. This shit is crazy. I can't read
but
your messages. I miss them 90% of the time. There's just too
not like
many of
my
them.
Tinder for the record. That's a ghost town. That is for the record. My Tinder is like more like my YouTube comment section.
Oh, Nick.
Inverted.
Oh, buddy. Oh, man. I'm just gonna like, Cheers and I should start a fake account and create an emotional affair with you. That sounds like so much fun. You'll
What?
never know it's us.
I would know
Well,
immediately.
nah,
I can smell
nah.
you guys from a mile away. There's Jen. I would if you have my full consent to try. If you somehow get me to swipe on the right person and interact
Oh,
with me, you have the. I'm giving you consent to catfish me because I'll figure it out within the first 2 weeks.
okay. I'll take that bet. 2
Mhm.
weeks? Yeah. Bet.
And if not, then there's some punishment there that we'll figure out. I have to be Milo for a week. Um,
Minecraft Girl 87 is coming your way soon.
No, not Blocky Bits 87. Uh, right. Guys, I think we've covered a lot in this podcast. So we're going to now answer the pointed question of the day. It is,
Yay.
do content creators really help grow darts? We talked about all this stuff. And I mean, truly, the question really is what place do content creators serve in growing darts? Because I think you and I both have the belief that they do.
Some content creators, of course, help. If anything, I would go so far to say they're almost more important than some professional players. Not all, but in America, it's just true. The content creators have a much bigger following than even professional players. It really blows my mind that there is a lack of a super fandom in America. It exists quite a bit on the East Coast, but as a whole, as a nation, it's still true. I look at sales data the past 30 years, guys. People still don't buy signature darts of players. They're really not supporting them in a way that matters. They're not buying their products. They're not really watching their content. I think Alex Bellman and Mike Maloney are two exceptions to those rules, but by all like purposes, I really feel that professional players should have more influence and bigger followings and better sponsorships, but they just don't because they're not creating content. Content has become so much more important. And the reason I think that is true is because darts content gives people a reason to care about darts when they're not physically playing darts. When you watch a match, you see a funny short or listen to a podcast, argue about a checkout. watch someone review equipment, whatever it may be. You send that clip to your doubles partner. You follow a person's tournament run. It's suddenly darts isn't just an activity that you do once a week. It's part of your entertainment and identity when you're sharing that with a community and they're actually talking back to you. Like, pro players, I would say, don't feel as approachable, especially like the super duper famous ones like top 32 PDC. And research into sports social media, like not even recently, in the past like decade, has found exactly this kind of effect. So fans that use social media for things that are including like passion and camaraderie and connection. That digital interaction is going to help people remain behaviorally engaged with the sport of darts. I think there's just so much happening on the surface that we kind of forget about.
Yeah, and it's so funny to watch that evolution. Jean Van Veen has been posting some TikToks. I don't know if you've been watching
Yeah,
them.
I
Like,
have.
I'm annoyed at how good he is at that. Like the
Natural,
charisma he has
natural.
on camera, and I've met him in person, and he was very nice and charismatic in person. But like that doesn't always translate to on camera. I mean, truly, I was like, oh my god, you're an amazing dart player, and you might be an even better content creator. This is annoying. Stop it. But you see these different people kind of break into space. But what's so funny is like you look at like the European dart system versus the American. And I think one of the biggest difference of why, particularly in America, we have a need for people like us, and that's not me just trying to justify my own job, is the fact is, and it really is this simple. In Europe, there's the televised stages, there's these set systems, there's everything around the culture that builds into darts that clearly gives different points of visibility and different points of platforming people. That doesn't exist here properly in the States. We've worked hard at USA Darts to try to give a semblance of that. The CDC has done some of that work. Bullshooter on their own, even prior to our involvement, has done some of that work, but
Hmm.
it's few and far between and inconsistent and disjointed. So it's hard to platform these people and care about these personalities. That was one of the biggest goals I had with the CSC, is to make people actually care about these players and the storyline about their run in this tournament, not just that individual match and cheering for them specifically, right? Content creators help bridge that gap. They help platform individual personalities, highlight aspects of the sport, and really help modernize the game to create and generate true new fan engagement and culture. That's actually the goal. That's actually the difference maker. So when we talk about like, do we help grow darts? I think particularly in America, we're in position to do so, because if you circle all the way back to the start of this section, Jen said there was nobody else doing it, so she decided to do it herself. And the same thing, I had the ego of being able to say I could be a darts producer and get on content, because I decided I could just figure it out before the problem would ever fully arise, and I did. And I think that if there was our industry was 100 times bigger here, that I couldn't have gotten away with doing a stunt like that, just like you wouldn't have gotten into the career path that you got into, right? Our job is to help enable pathways, because you could write everything down, rip off this one for one, every advice we've given for us, and we'd be happy that you did that, because there is
Yeah.
truly room to grow to 100-fold, if not 1,000-fold.
I would even go as far as to say that you, Will, and I are an extreme differentiator of the typical content creator, because we also work in the corporate industry of darts. So we have an intimate industry knowledge. Mine is spanning 13 years now. Will
Damn, she's
started with
old.
us in 2020. Yeah, I'm getting old.
Damn, he's old.
Uh, this is not just your typical. I actually I don't I don't qualify myself as an influencer. I'm a creative director first and foremost, with a clear corporate strategic plan of how to influence more people to play darts, like from a corporate lens. But I am going to lean heavily into the individual personal content. So I guess I'm going to have to accept that role and the negative connotations that come with it. But at the end of the day, even the PDC itself is essentially making our argument, right? CEO's name, Matthew Porter, right? PDC CEO. He specifically credited younger players' authentic, organic content with helping darts reach a younger digital first audience. And he said that it influenced PDC's own content strategy. So if you have the top of the top of the top acknowledging how important this is, and they're pivoting to lean towards personality marketing, like of course that's going to trickle down and be relevant in the rest of the globe. So I think the broader point that I just want to make is digital content strengthens fan relationships, our community, our identity, our knowledge, our not only entertainment but understanding of products. We influencers are much cheaper, easier way to do product education. Like when auto scoring systems came out, when the mod system came out, like really complicated new stuff. It is so much easier just like learning from a human being who's going to create an entire how-to tutorial for you rather than like traditional digital marketing, email, snail mail, and just the times of the past. So I just want people to kind of like sit at home and realize I think most folks are making the mistake that believing darts content creators are supposed to be darts coaches. They're not. Some can be, but a very, very small handful of people. So you, of course, don't need to be one of the world's best players to be valuable to the sport and put information out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you're spot on. I mean, I think about like the gaming content creators that like I've watched over the years, and I've watched less gaming now than I did in years past. But I think about like watching someone like Ludwig, who like does do self-imposed
Mm.
challenges, but is not a professional gamer. As much as he claims he's a Red Bull athlete. I watch people like that versus sometimes I watch Pokemon challenges, which is a hyper specific Pokemon nuzlocking professional like content creator that plays the game at the highest level. I think about the differences between watching creators that like are super casual that make content around the things I like that makes it fun to enjoy and I can resonate because I like the thing they're talking about, or I like them personally and they're talking about something I wouldn't have engaged with otherwise, versus someone that's hyper specific into a niche that explains the hyper specifics. There's a place for an Alex Spellman content creation just as much as there is a place for the Jin Mount starts, right? And there's different levels of interaction and base that goes with that. I think the true like form of like influencer ambassador, I can tell you my job title is stay the same internally of what I call my professional corporate life and my personal life. I'm just a man of the people, Jen. And at the end of the day, I think that if I stay authentic to enjoying what I make, and I think that if I truly celebrate the things I want to celebrate, and I love nowadays my content having genuine like let's talk about a problem and potential solutions to it type content. But in general, majority of my content is supposed to just be fun. It's supposed to be light. And I truly try to live on the I just want to make you guys smile a little bit. If you don't smile a little bit, that's a you problem. I tried. At the end of the day, Jen, it just ain't that deep. We just dark
It ain't that
content creators.
deep.
I mean, they help. I think they do make a meaningful difference.
They humanize darts. I mean, what I like about us, I just said it earlier, like I'm showing you you can suck and still belong here and still have fun and it can be infectious.
Me at the
And
club.
one of the most fulfilling comments that I get or DMs that I get from people, they'll like extensively write up out a paragraph to me and they're like, "You know what? I got really sour about the darts community 10 years ago. I haven't touched a dart in 10 years. And watching you, Nick, and Will be idiots has encouraged me to want to play again. And I'm going to join a league this season." And like it brings me to tears of like, we are reactivating dormant players out there. We're not just influencing the existing community to enjoy darts more and better. Um, we're also influencing new people to pick it up in the first place. And we're reaching those seasoned veterans that had a bad experience in the past and are realizing it's a brand new world with new people in it. Some of the same people, still the lack of respect, but at the end of the day, we're trying to fix it one piece of content at a time. Yeah, retention and that reactivation is every bit as important, I think, to a healthy sport as acquisition. So it makes me so happy to hear those stories over and over and over again.
So the moral of the story, the answer to the pointed question of the day, do content creators really help grow darts? The answer is yes. And you better be one too. For making content. Freaking sons of bitches. You gotta go make some videos right now. Swear to God.
Or tell us how to be better creators. You give us some challenges. Tell Nick what hair color to dye next. Like just be engage with us. We want to hear your ideas. We want to know how to better entertain you. So like and subscribe and watch playlists. Yeah,
Guys,
Damon.
guys, it's episode 11. Before we finish our run of show, it is important to know we actually are going to be reevaluating, kind of readjusting the Pointed Questions podcast. It's been 11 great episodes, and Jen realized that she really is too expensive on her time to be spending it with me. So we're going to be focusing on what that looks like going forward. But that doesn't mean the podcast is going away. It does mean that we're going to be spending a little bit of time in the background here working on what the future of the Pointed Questions podcast looks like, giving it a little bit of an overhaul potentially, and working on some new big content opportunities for us individually to match with the goals that we just talked about here. Is that fair to say, Jen?
I think I've got our title. This is the end, or is it? Of the Pointed
Oh,
Questions
yeah.
podcast,
Yeah.
episode 11.
And that's the content creation episode, everybody. We're clickbaiting you, and you're clicking back on us, solving darts and life's biggest problems live whenever we sometimes feel like it. Sometimes on Tuesdays, we don't really know anymore, but it's been a good one, and we're going to go now. Subscribe,
Bye-bye.
like, send us stars. We're broke.
Send so many stars.
Oh my God, we're hungry.
Find Nick's OnlyFans.